What is the view on the streets? Arise correspondent Punariman Benjamin caught up with some Nigerians in Abuja, the federal capital territory.
He doesn't know what is happening here. Those people that left here and tell him this is what is happening. This is what happened. He doesn't believe in them. Come and spy this place and see what is happening. Come and plant people here and see what is happening here. In fact, they are killing Christians, they are killing Muslims. Nobody knows who is killing. If you want, if he said it's only Nigerian government responsible for that, I will agree with him.
If he has no work doing, he should please stay clear from Nigerian problem. You see, we Nigerians, personally, I have Christian and Muslim in our own Yoruba community. And this killing, Trump is crying or talking about genocide to the Christians is not so. He's very, very far away from what he's talking. So there's nowhere Christians alone are being killed in Nigeria. Please.
We can't blame him 100%. The reason why we can't blame him is Trump is at a distance. When you don't know much about the country, and the country itself refuses to reveal what is going on, outsiders can say anything.
It's unfortunate that the security challenge we have been having has been long, and the government supposed to have curtailed this thing long ago. But you see, these security challenges keep on taking different shapes, and the military that is managing this thing, the security that is managing this thing, in fact, they always come with a different narrative.
I can't dispute that. There's no insurgents. There's no act of terrorism in Nigeria. It's real. But killing other side, which I disagree with it.
What the American president has said is not new. All of us in Nigeria knows that that is what is prevailing, and it's been prevailing for many years now. So, for me, it's not a new development. The only thing is that it should even attract interest as citizens of the country. Since the thing has overcome the efforts of the government, I think we need external assistance to arrest the situation.
The problem of Nigeria is that we find it difficult in Nigeria for decades back. Despite we are independent, we are not independent, we are dependent. Because we find it difficult to produce a president, governor, senator, member of House of Reps, councillor, chairman that will govern Nigeria, that will urgently improve welfare and well-being of Nigeria and give Nigerians dividends of democracy, fundamental human rights, rule of law, inject action and acting to the humanitarian service to people of Nigeria, and to provide money in circulation to empower Nigerian youth. The katakata palaver going on in Nigeria now that make Trump is a boss, he's a U.S. president.
Nigerians there bearing their minds on this particular situation. Joining us now to take a look at Nigeria's sovereignty and U.S. relations against the backdrop of President Donald Trump's recent designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern amid military action is Professor Mukhtar Imam, Professor of Political Science and International Relations, Directing Staff, National Institute for Security Studies, and Ambassador Hassan Mohammed, former Deputy Ambassador of Nigeria to the United States. Gentlemen, glad to have you join me in the studios of Arise here to discuss this particular issue.
My pleasure.
Let me start with you, Ambassador Hassan. What are the implications of Trump's actions? The two designating Nigeria as a CPC, country of particular concern. Where is he deriving that from? And then, of course, his threat of, coming to attack Nigeria.
Where he is driving it from. In 1998, a law came up in the United States. That's the International Freedom of Religions Act. That act provides the United States the right to pressurize any country that is not doing the right thing in terms of religion, religious worship and religious practices in a particular place within a country. So based on that, Ted Cruz, some Nigerians got to him and they complained, maybe some constituents or whatever. And he said, okay, we'll raise the issue up. And the first thing was a TV presenter raised the issue. And after a few days, it went viral. And the president came in, and this is where we are. But the thing is, this act Nigeria was there before.
Yeah.
In 2001, 2002, Nigeria was indicted. And the implication is that, what is worrying in the pronouncements so far is the fact that President Trump threatened to punish Nigeria in terms of war or strikes or invasion. This has never happened before. And when Nigeria was there in 2001, 2002, a delegation went and the thing was settled amicably, and was the provision is, while this is, why they come up with this act is that they want you to come clean, to make sure that you are fair to everybody. And once you fail, they will put some pressures on you, on your country, to perform. There is nothing in the act that gives the United States the right to declare war on a nation because of religious
Violations.
But this, what Trump has done now, or he is about to do, or may do,
He has threatened.
Is there is more than meets the eye.
Yep.
So we won't know what are the motivations, but maybe we may discover it in due course.
Later.
Yeah.
All right. To you, Prof. Mukhtar, the president has responded. But what more should Nigeria be doing at this point in time? The president of Nigeria has responded to Trump's accusations.
Absolutely.
What more, or what should Nigeria even be doing? Are they doing it?
Well, the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern is something that should be of concern to both the sub and superstructure within the Nigerian space, because we're all stakeholders in the Nigerian project. Of course, like you rightly mentioned, the president has responded, and his response, of course, is politically and diplomatically correct. However, some pundits have alluded to the fact that the president should have been firmer in his response to President Trump, because you see, the reality is, as leaders, leaders must learn to be cautious. Leaders must learn to guard their utterances. Leaders must also learn to gauge their impulses. Trump is a figure that, like it or not, is somebody who the world sees as, or rather put differently, is the president of the most powerful country in the world. And so whatever rhetoric comes from Trump resonates with people. It has a way of going around the world. It becomes of global concern. And so therefore, there's the need for the government to ensure that it does more in terms of engaging with the United States government on all fronts. While statements could be firm or firmer, there's a need to also understand that we need to step back a bit and exhaust the diplomatic channels.
Right.
And this is where it becomes very pertinent for the government of the day to understand that where people speak, myself included, on the need to ensure that diplomats are sent, are posted to countries, it's not just mere rhetorics.
Yeah.
It's not because we want to have a conversation. It's not because we want to dent the image of the administration. It is because of phenomena and circumstances
I'm
such
sure
as
you're
the one
referring
that
to the
we're
fact
in.
that we don't yet have ambassadors.
We do not have ambassadors in countries, and this is worrisome. For a situation of this magnitude, it is expected that it is an ambassador who has presented his certificate to the government of that country that should engage with the president of that country. A chargé d'affaires cannot handle this. And so therefore, this is where it becomes pertinent. Of course, having said that, and given the circumstances and the status quo, I think what the government needs to begin to do is to articulate its position, to further reinforce to President Donald Trump, because we understand, as far as measuring the character of Donald Trump is concerned, that he's an individual who perhaps doesn't even listen to cables. He might not even listen to reports that is coming from the chargé d'affaires of the ambassador of the United States in Nigeria. And so whatever is presented to him is what he takes and he runs with it. So this is the sort of individual we're dealing with here. And so there's a need to approach these issues with caution. You see, the rhetoric that has come from Trump is where the concern is. Concerns on twofold. The first is that he has created an impression, and that impression could actually go a long way in further balkanizing or intensifying the balkanization.
Because perception matters.
Much more than reality, particularly in politics. And so therefore what that could do is that could further intensify the balkanization of the already fragile situation in which we're sitting on in this country. Because we all know that this is the reality, even though these words are unspoken in most cases, but this is where we are. A lot of conflicts have been given religious undertone and religious coloration and ethnic coloration. And people have taken that and have run with it. And so when this sort of rhetoric begins to come from, a space that is supposed to be seen as revered, it becomes worrisome, it becomes dangerous. That's on the first hand. On the other hand, you also find that designation doesn't do us well. Like His Excellency has rightly mentioned, what it does is that it blackballs the country. And we need the support of these countries, particularly the developed countries, at least at this point in time, to ensure that we tame this crisis of insecurity and insurgency in our country. Because as it stands today, we do not have the military wherewithal. And so therefore, it is required that we will get them from outside. And so when this sort of rhetorics begin to play out, it is not very helpful, because it is a complete mischaracterization of the situation on the ground. But as far as Trump's guns blazing threat is concerned, it's not something that is foreseeable. It's not something that is doable, because we live in an international rule-based order system.
Good. That's why I'm going to bring in Ambassador Hassan now. On that particular point that Prof. Imam just mentioned, on what plank is Trump hinging his supposed action, and what does the international law say about this sort of interference in a foreign nation's matter?
The international law provision by the United Nations is very clear. There is equality of states, and there is non-interference in the domestic affairs of a nation. So one begins to wonder where from Trump is getting his authority to invade. You understand? So that one is there. And secondly, Nigeria, as Prof said, we need to come forward and present ourselves very well, and present the situation as they are, and not as Trump
puts it.
Exactly. So in this case, I expected, I don't know if...
Let me just add this, and you just go on with it. Senator Ndume has mentioned certain people, former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Anyoku, and some other ambassadors, that Nigeria should push them forward to tackle this diplomatically, just along what you're answering.
That's right. So I don't know if normally, if you have kind of a conundrum, you get ambassadors residing in your country. You brief them, you give them, because they know whatever is going on in this country. But at the same time, it's good for them to hear it from the horse's mouth. Yeah. So you gather them in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, give them briefing of on what is happening now and our concerns. And secondly, you take it to ECOWAS level and to AU, then to the United Nations. Yep. You make yourself very clear and also punch holes in what President Trump is claiming that you are doing. I don't know what has happened in this regard. And I don't know if the government is engaging. They might be doing it quietly, but there is nothing in the press to let us know
that, what they're doing. All right, we'll leave it there. I like the phrase punch holes in what the President Trump has said. Gentlemen, Professor Mukhtar Imam, Professor of Political Science and International Relations, Directing Staff, National Institute of Security Studies, and of course, Ambassador Hassan Mohammed, former Deputy Ambassador of Nigeria to the United States. Thank you, gentlemen, for your contributions on Newsnight.
My pleasure.